Hello and welcome to this webinar about efficiency optimization through monitoring from AKONET.Cloud. Let me first introduce ourselves. Here with me are Xavi Alves, our research manager from AKO, and also Mr. Juan Gonzalez, this is our software connectivity and digital services product manager. So myself is Jose Maria Cabria, and I am the product manager for control. Okay, so a little background about the cold chain and its impact on the environment. Here you are some key facts. For instance, 2.5% of total global CO2 emissions are due to refrigeration in the world. Or also, you also should surely know that about 2/3 of the energy in a supermarket depends on the refrigeration. And in this energy, there are big potential savings that are calculated more or less between 15 and 26% only in the cold rooms by using best practices. And this is important also because the total cost of ownership in a cold room, this total cost between 70 and 80% depends only on the electricity consumption. So it's very important to how to control these cold rooms to benefit of these optimizations in terms of energy. Also, it's important to know that it's not only talking about energy consumption, but also facts like the leakage of gases are also affecting to the installation optimization. Just to give you an idea, 20% of leakage in your installation are increasing the consumption by 15%, and this is completely exponential. The more you leak, the more you increase your consumption exponentially. If we talk about also about product care, it's important also to have a very optimized installation because 9% of the food is lost due to a poor storage temperature, to an incorrect temperature in the cold rooms or in the cabinets. It's so important to have the right temperature that, for instance, only 1 degree below the requirement temperature is going to increase your energy consumption in about 3%. Or in the opposite, if you have just 0.75 degrees above the optimum set point, it can take you to have a product losses of up to 11%. So just imagine how important it is to have the right temperature all the time. So as you can see, it's a big impact on the environment of the refrigeration, but the good news is that there are a lot of energy saving potential that we can address. What are the inefficient practice in cooling that usually we face in the market? For instance, the set point. Usually there are oversized set points, about 2 degrees below the necessary, just to be safer, let's say. The same thing applies with the defrost. We are applying between 4 and 6 defrosts per day because it's just a practice in the market. And of course, if we talk about door opening or fan regulation, this is a big problem in the market with very big opening of the doors without any control. Also, we can have a lack of regulation in the draining wirings, in the fans, in the lights that of course are not helping, or even the fact that you don't have rigid programming in the controllers and don't have a adaptive regulation is also bringing inefficiency. Of course, as we have seen, the gas shortage in the installation also will affect this. And last but not least, of course, the preventive maintenance of the installation will also help a lot to have the installation in the perfect shape, like avoiding the ice formation on the evaporators, for instance. There are also a lot of installations without any monitoring system or alarm system, so you know if you don't have the info, you cannot apply anything. And a lot of services that are taken care by manual temperature logins that are impossible to analyze and are not bringing any value information from which you can take decisions. So for AKO, what does it mean efficiency? It's not only electrical consumption, as you can imagine right now as we are talking, is also reduce the gas leakage, is taking care of the product to minimize the product losses, reduce the maintenance costs, reduce the operational costs. You can automate that task will be much better. Increase the service life of the set life of the installation, and reduce the emissions, and of course contribute to a better image of the companies, and also try to put in place some controls to avoid bad practices. So basically, we are proposing you 3 lines in search of the efficiency. One is to reduce the refrigerant gas leakage. That is one of the main problems in the refrigerant market worldwide. Just to give you an idea, the European average leakage is about 25%. And this 25% means that we are talking about also a 20% in the increasing of the electrical consumption. Depending on which type of establishment we are talking about, in a hypermarket, for instance, we can have around 10,000 to 18,000 euros per year, just the cost of the gas leakage, which is quite a lot of money. If we go to product care and product losses, there are also big impact on this. As we saw before, 9% of the products are lost because of bad temperature. And there are also a lot of installations that are working manually. So there are also a lot of operation costs due to lack of monitoring, as you can see there. So depending if we talk about convenience store or hypermarket, let's say big installation or small installation, we are talking about between 5,000 to 13,000 euros that we can avoid every year per establishment. And finally, regarding cold rooms, we are also proposing you to take care of them and to optimize them, because as you can see, the cold rooms are a big consumer of the supermarkets. More or less, as an average, 35% of the electrical consumption in the refrigeration installation of the supermarket comes from the cold rooms. That means that in a typical supermarket or hypermarket, we are talking about between 10,000 to 40,000 euros per year, just in electrical consumptions, taking into consideration that a supermarket are around 5 cold rooms. In a hypermarket, we are talking about 20 cold rooms. All of the solutions you are going to see here in this webinar are connected. We don't understand the efficiency without connectivity. And all of them are connected through several ways, several methods. We can work with wireless system, working with narrowband Internet of Things, IoT. That means that every single device has their own capability to communicate directly with our monitoring system on the cloud. Independently of it is wireless or with wire, it is a fully secure environment. And the other way we are doing is through Modbus that connected to a gateway that can transmit to the same system, either by GPRS or by Ethernet using their own property line. So in the cloud, there are all our, let's say, business intelligence or application intelligence, the configuration of the equipment, the data dashboards, the alarm management, the reports, and the user and security items. So everything is, let's say, cooked on the cloud, and then you can apply and access to this data and valuable information through our apps, through any web interface, or even you can integrate these solutions in third-party solutions.